My name is Izzy Dakota Jones, and this is the Art of Doing podcast. I'm here with Brian Holden, blues, R&B, soul singer-songwriter, and a friend. So, Brian, my first question to you is exactly where did you come from? I think you came from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
And how did your career start off over there, actually?
Well, I was born and raised in Winnipeg, and I started learning to play the drums there. My uncle was a drummer, and I got interested in it through that. And then I moved out to Vancouver in 1964.
64, okay.
And so by 1965, I guess I was good enough to be a drummer and get some gigs.
Right on. So do you play the clubs around here in Vancouver? Like, what were the first clubs you started playing at, and what were some of the musicians that we would know of in the city that you played with?
Oh, well, I started playing, well, my first real professional gig was a place called Zorba the Greek on West Penn. It was like a dine and dance Greek restaurant.
Oh, right.
So Greek dancing, slapping their feet with handkerchiefs, but actually...
breaking of plates.
That's right. Hopefully not throwing them at the band. We were actually playing, they're dancing kind of like country music. There was, bucko ones and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But the first band that I really enjoyed myself in was just some friends from school,
Right on.
My buddy Lauren Lovo and some other guys. I had a great time. It was back in the hippie days, right?
Yeah. So back in around '66 and all that, and all that period of time, there was quite a. I remember myself there was quite a music scene. Like there was a lot of cool, a lot of original stuff, but there was also a really cool R&B and blues scene, right?
Oh yeah, the one.
Yeah, and because I remember seeing that when I was a kid. I went to Teen City at the P&E.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get into bars yet, but I'd go to Teen City and I'd see Jason Hoover and Epics, and you knew those guys, and you too, and you played with them too, I guess. They had certain different people in that band.
Yeah. I ended up actually using the guys from the Epics. There was Jimmy Harmata, George Chapelis, may he rest in peace, my old buddy, and a fellow named Ian Hood Inches that played with Jason Hoover, and I had a band called the Prana Brothers, and that was those guys,
okay.
And I was fronting it, singing, and I was playing keys a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it started off with my brother and I fronting it, but my brother didn't last very long, and then I was just a front man for quite a while, and then Jason Hoover joined the band.
Oh wow!
So there was me and Jason, and
wow.
Yeah.
So when you said you came out and you originally started playing drums, so how many different kinds of instruments do you play? Technically, how many? You play guitar, right? We know that.
Yeah, I play guitar.
Play drums.
I can play bass a bit, like when I'm doing my demos and stuff. I do that all myself, and I started off as a singing drummer.
Right.
But it's tough to be a singing drummer because for the audience has nothing. They can't see you so well because you're hiding behind a drum kit, and it's hard to hear yourself sing too when you're rattling those pots and pans, So I after several years actually, I stepped away from the drums and just went up front.
Right on. So during that period of time, though, you played, like you said, you played. What are some of the clubs that you played at? Some of the nightclubs that are famous, in Vancouver over the years, right?
Well, yeah, Ken Harry's.
Oh, Ken Harry's.
And there was the Body Shop on
Right.
Harvey Street.
I remember that place,
yeah, Fram's at the Fraser Arms Hotel. There was just so many. There was so many.
It was a big scene back then.
Yeah, it was huge.
There was a huge scene back then.
I had to book, back in the day, I had to book off 2 weeks in the summer for a holiday.
Wow.
The rest of the time we were just working.
Just going non-stop. And
Yeah.
it used to be 6 nights a week sometimes back then, right?
It was almost
days a
always
week,
6 nights a week, and then
Yeah.
I'd get some early shifts, some afternoon gigs and dinner time, type of things.
And if I remember correctly, too, you were telling me you did jingles at one point, too, in Vancouver.
Yeah, I got into singing jingles. I started at studio called Total Sound West. I think it was called Studio 3 before it was called Total Sound West. And it was in the Vancouver Film Exchange building. And then later on I got in, I did some stuff at Griffith Gibson Studios in a Little Mountain. And yeah, sang about everything from wieners to sugar. I'd sing about anything for $1, you know what I mean?
I hear you. So tell me, like, also tell me, like, we're gonna get into the talking about the songwriting and the songs and stuff. But who influenced you? Like I seriously, I never, all the years that we talk and known each other, I don't know who your influences are. I know, I get where your music style, but I don't get who do you influence from?
Well, you know, I sort of listened to everything. You know, I started young, and so basically everything that was on the radio. But I kind of, like, I liked all the British Invasion stuff. The Beatles.
Right.
I was a big Beatles fan and everything. But really, what got me was all the R&B stuff, like the mid to late '60s R&B, soul music. You know, Wilson Pickett, Sam and Dave, Sam Cooke,
Right.
all those guys. You know, and even the
Because James Brown came up around that time.
James
That's when he
Brown.
was starting to really come to the forefront, right?
yeah, I never.
I wasn't a huge fan, but like, you know what I mean? Like I tell,
Yeah.
that's
Well-
where the soul was coming from at that point, right? The funk.
Yeah, there was. He was pretty funky. He was the kind of guy that could take one chord and turn it into a song, you know. But yeah, I never. It was, you know, mostly Four Tops, Temptations, all that stuff I listened to.
Yeah.
And so now my writing kind of reflects some of that.
So because when I'm listening to your songs, like I get that soulful kind of feeling in your music. And I just finished listening to it like when I was in the car, and again, and it kind of makes you. It takes you to a. It kind of takes you to a place like where it's real. You know, you're in the moment. You know what I mean, Brian? Like I really mean that. Like I sit there and I go, yeah. You can it takes your memory. You can go into your imagination. You can actually find a place that you actually felt like that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's great.
Yeah, I do. I just kind of go like, wow, okay, I can relate to that because that kind of is like how I see things too. You know, like sometimes it's just like reality, right? It's just like, wow, okay, I didn't know Brian felt like that. I feel like that. Yeah, I get it. So when you're writing, do you write around like actual, I guess, like an actual moment in your experience,
Well,
that like you draw from that, right?
Yeah, sometimes I do. You know, we've all had makeups and breakups with our partners, and you know, so that comes into play if there's, you know, whatever's kind of going on in your life. And
Like I really like when I'm looking at the Drive album, right? I really like Drive.
well, driving. Well, I've always been into old cars. Like I've got a couple old cars, and I like hot rods and custom cars and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
it's kind of a hobby. And so I wanted to write a song for my car buddies, all the guys that hang out.
Yeah.
And so that's where that song "Driving" comes from. And I even did a video with me driving one of my old cars, an old Chop 51 Ford that I got.
Yeah.
And
That's what I've noticed. Like I said, you can paint a picture of what when you're writing. You can actually paint. You hear the song, I can actually paint a picture of where you're going and what's going on in the song, right? So, I mean, I really like that song on the album, and the first one too is so the horn section. Who's on the horn section?
Oh yeah, the great horn player.
Wow.
Steve Hilliam's playing tenor sax, and so when we're in the studio, it's time for Steve to take a horn solo, and he plays it, and it's like the first time through is just like fantastic. Well,
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, we got it. Except I'll go, no, let's do a couple more just because I want to hear him. I just want to hear him play some more. He's so good, right? And Steve, he plays with. He used to play with Gino Vanelli, and he plays with Colin James. when calling tours with the horn
And
section.
so he lives in down here too. He's a
Yeah.
local guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So then that like we're saying, like we're going back. I remember seeing you in the days at the town pump when you were in Brian and Lyers.
Brian and Lyers,
Yeah. And I mean, you guys were working all the time.
Yeah.
That band was really working all the time.
Yeah, we were pretty busy.
Yeah, because I remember my buddy Bruce Marshall was managing the place,
That's right.
Yeah. And who else was I talking to? I was talking to in the city, and we mentioned you. We were talking to what was her name? I can't remember. Cecil is her husband's name. She used to work for Bruce Allen, but she also was a waitress at the town pump, and then she ended up managing the town pump after Bruce left.
Oh.
And I'm trying to remember her name right now. But anyways, it's slipping me right now. But her and her husband, like to this day, they still like have a PA system, and they kind of book a bar or two. They run a bar or two in town, right?
Right.
So they were talking about like the town pump days, and I mentioned you, and they said, yeah, I remember Brian. She says, I remember Brian really well, right? Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun room too, wasn't it?
I liked it. Yeah.
That was a good room.
We used to play there a lot.
On your stuff, you tend to get a lot of airplay, which I think that's great. Like especially in Canada, you do well. Going back to the Holden album, actually, right? That's the album before. There's lots of really cool songs. My Papa Said that is so cool. And what's that around like that?
Well, it was my dad. My dad's been gone for a long time, but he had a million sayings,
Yeah.
And so I used that kind of stuff in my lyrics, and the song is about my dad, like a tribute to my dad.
And then when I'm working at my other job, we won't get into
Got me a job.
You got it. I hear that and I go like, yeah, I do. I got myself a job, Brian.
Yeah, there's this song called "Got Me a Job" on there, and it's just about a guy living in hand to mouth and working his tail off at a job that he kind of hates. And
Yeah, that's me. I can totally relate to that. And now, did you have a lot of the same cats on this album?
Yeah, I had, on the Driving CD, I got Steve Hilliam on sax, and Derry Byrne played a trumpet on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Derry's a great trumpet player. He used to play with Boss Skaggs, and he's been around. But on the Holden CD, that's
this is for you guys.
Terry Townsend is playing on there.
Right on.
And Terry Townsend, a really super nice guy.
And these are your shoes and your sunglasses. And
I like to get my picture taken, so I don't know what I'm doing here if there were a guy that doesn't like his picture taken. But
looks like you're shrunk here.
yeah, my good friend Monique Sash took
the picture.
Yeah,
it's a cool. I like the album cover.
She's a great photographer.
I think that's classic. Look at that, guys. That's classic. You can't beat that. Yeah. I mean, like. And what's his name on keyboards too? Daryl
Havers.
Yeah, Daryl, which we both know.
He's a monster. Another Winnipeg boy.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
And I think Steve Hilliam's originally from Winnipeg as well.
So when you were back in Winnipeg though, you must have known a lot do you know like the big guns? Have you ever met some of the big guns like that? Because you were at that time period with those people.
Well,
too, right?
when
like say Burton and Randy and them. Do you know those?
Well,
guys?
when I lived in Winnipeg, I moved up here when I was pretty young. It was 64, and so I was just in my mid-teens. But when I lived in Winnipeg, the band was Chad Allen and the Expressions, and Chad Allen the Impressions.
That's right.
Their name. I can't remember which one was which.
Yeah.
But anyway, they used to rehearse 2 doors down from me. Was the drummer Brian Ducky Donald?
Yes.
And so I used to go and watch them rehearse, and then Randy Bachman was in that band, and then years later in the 80s, I ended up in a band with Randy Bachman. And,
oh wow!
And at that time, his wife Denise McCann.
Singer.
Yeah. So Denise and I were singing, and then there was Lindsay Mitchell was playing guitar. He's a guitar player from Prism.
That's right, and he was also in Seeds of Time.
Yeah, Seeds of Time.
Yeah,
and,
I remember that.
Yeah, so it was funny. I ended up, after all those years playing with Randy. who's a great guitar player. Holy smokes!
Yeah, he is. He is a good
He's
player.
not just a rock player. He's
No, he
he's
can play a lot of
great
good stuff.
all-around guitar player. Pretty prolific.
So when I'm getting back here, I know we're kind of all over the place, folks, but like when Brian and I talk, that's what we do. We end up all over the place. On when you're writing a song, like we said, you take a specific topic and you get down to writing it. Do you start with the lyrics, or do you start with the guitar first, or and I know you play, and you also said you played a little bit of piano. The other day you were telling me a little bit of piano too.
Yeah. Well, when I'm writing, I sort of came up with a way to do it. Everybody does it differently, but what worked for me is I walk around the house with just a guitar around my neck, just the way I'm sitting here right now, and I'll just be noodling away, you know, and I'll come up with a guitar lick, and like in driving, the guitar lick, I was sitting around and going.
Right.
And I go, okay, well, that's something I might be able to use someday in a song. I'm thinking while I'm sitting on the porch playing this, and then, so what I'll do is I'll pull out my phone, my iPhone, which I should probably turn off right now, and I record that guitar lick into my phone, and then once I got a whole whack of guitar licks in my phone, I'll pull them out. And another thing too is I leave a piece of paper around, or else I'll record into the phone. If I think of a line of a song that sounds interesting, or a little hooky thing, or a topic that I could write a song about, I write it down. And then eventually, when it's time to, like right now, I'm going through the process of writing for my next album.
Yeah, you were saying that to me recently. You're starting to get
And
that
so
together.
I'll go through my phone and I'll pick out the guitar lick that I was once thinking of, okay, like this. Then I look down my list of topics and one-liners and whatever, you know,
Cool.
that stuff. And then, so I'll try and put together a progression on the guitar first, and then pick a topic, and then just spit out a bunch of words, whether it makes sense or not, just to get a melody kind of going, and then I just keep refining it, and until there's a song.
So that's how you break it down and stuff. So what was I going to say here too? So you're writing your songs right now, and you're starting to come up with new material. What do you like better? This is what the question I was going to ask. It just came in my head. What do you like better? Do you like I know you and I talked about it. We like to record. I love to record. Actually, almost more than actually playing live. That's just me. I don't know how you feel. I'm kind of almost over the live thing sometimes in my life. It's just, you know, it's because it's for me to, I don't know how you feel, to get up on that stage and having to put yourself out there is after a long time is kind of like, I don't know anymore, you know, like I can do it. It just seems to be, I have to make that effort where I'm in the studio. I've not seen you in the studio, like, I know you haven't seen me in the studio, but like in the studio, because we work with Bill quite a bit, and it seems to be a little more more intimate and more creative to me. What do you think?
Well, it is. I'm usually pretty ready when I go in the studio. I pretty well got a really good idea of what I want.
Where you're going,
Even when I'm writing, like I'll even write as if it's a horn part, you know, like.
Right, I hear you.
Then the horn part, you know.
So is that through, like, when you're saying that to me, is that like through? So, folks, what I'm trying to say is that, like, writing. Now, Brian and I are talking like writing stuff. So, like when I hear. I'm sort of how I do it is I'll write a riff out, and then I build off. I'll listen to it, keep listening to it, and listen to it. Then I'll hear like a horn line, and then I'll hear something. You know what I mean? Like
I hear everything. I kind of hear everything all at once.
Whoa,
then when I go in the studio, and then what I've done in the guitar will turn into a horn part.
Right on.
You know, but I'll go in there kind of playing it on the guitar, but. The main thing is the producer and engineer and who owns the studio is Bill Buckingham.
Yeah.
And we're both good friends with Bill.
Yeah.
And he is a genius. He gets the
Yes.
horn section stuff down. When the horn guys come in, Bill's got all the parts written out for them from what I've played on, you know, and stuff that he's thought up. And
Because I was talking to you and I were, Brian and I went to a Christmas party in North Van. Remember that party we just recently were at? And we bumped into Mark Laflamme.
Mark of France.
Man of France, I mean, and Mark and I were talking, and we were talking about Bill too.
Yeah.
And we're just saying like he you know, Mark's quite the producer right now. He's producing a lot of people, and he was saying, "Oh, I've worked with Bill on 2 projects."
Oh,
He
yeah.
says, "And I love Bill. Bill, incredible year, really good year here.
Oh no,
Here's everything."
Bill's my he's my buddy, and he's so talented, and he plays every instrument, right? So if I'm fumbling around on the guitar, I don't know what to do or something, Bill picks up the guitar and plays. Oh, play this.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Oh, okay, I never thought of that. Right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
So it does become sometimes it probably does come a little spontaneous, right?
yeah, a bit of it. For the most part, the song is
There,
there.
meat and
And,
potatoes are there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So how many songs are you going to do this time, you think, coming up?
I don't-
What do you usually do?
I
Do you
don't
plan that out, or you just sort of...
I try and get 10 songs on there. It's hard to keep anybody's attention, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's so bombarded with media from every angle that if you can keep somebody's attention to listen to a whole record, 10 songs, you know, back in the, you know, a lot of people put 14 or 15 songs on an album. Well, I don't know if I
Nowadays,
want to listen to one person for that many songs.
I know, and I think that's just the way it is these days, right?
And then before this last CD, I put out an EP with 4 songs on it, and there's not much you can do with an EP. Like I ended up, it just didn't. I just sort of gave them away. I felt like you got to have a full album. I don't put out one like singles at a time or anything.
See,
Put
yeah,
out
that's
the whole album.
yeah, he does the whole album. I do the single thing, but because for various reasons. So, CD Baby, where can we get these albums on? Just so I know.
You can get them anywhere CDs are sold, like iTunes, Spotify, CD Baby. You can get them off my website, which is brianholdenmusic.com.
Right on.
You can anywhere music.
And then also, I hear what you were saying too, as far as that goes, like plugging it a little further, like shameless plugs. We're at like you're selling a lot on Live Nation. You said there's a
Reverb Nation.
Reverb Nation, like it's just doing really well.
Yeah, well, Reverb Nation, they have their own. It's worldwide, and they have their own scale of, you know. It's like a chart.
Yeah.
So, Reverb Nation on the chart, I've been #1 locally and regionally for about 9 months.
Wow.
Or 10 months now.
Wow.
And except for the odd time somebody will sneak in there and be #1 for a week or even a few days or something. But anyway, if that's on the Soul R&B chart, and then I got to #1 in Canada at one point. And
Wow.
But I'm still somewhere at #5 or.
And like you were saying earlier, you get, and also you're getting airplay like when we were talking, like all over the globe too.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, you know what?
Because that never used to happen. Nowadays,
No.
it's everywhere, right?
It just goes everywhere. And another thing I got to mention, I have to give a plug to Jen Oxball from Virtue Media. I've got she's my publicist.
Yeah.
And she's tremendous. She's got my music going all over the world, everywhere.
Good
I
for
got
her.
1,000 plays in 1 month on commercial radio in Lima, Peru.
Right on.
I had to look on the map to see.
And isn't
where
it
it was.
interesting? Because you know what's interesting about that too? I've got a little blues rock project too, beside the rock project, right?
Yeah.
And funny you say that. There's in Chile. There's a
Yeah.
radio station in Chile.
Yeah.
It's strictly blues.
Yeah, they're playing my stuff there in
And isn't that
Brazil.
weird?
Yeah, in Athens, Greece. The Netherlands were the first people to start buying my CDs.
How about in the U.S.?
In the U.S., Ohio, you know, some pockets in the U.S., but actually more European, like
Wow, that's cool.
Germany, France, the UK, the Netherlands.
And funny you say that too, because I was talking to another guy, a friend of ours, Dave Skinner.
Mhm.
So Dave's got a brand new project,
Oh yeah.
and it's kind of like Southern
Isn't
rock.
Dave Skinner from
Yeah,
Zingo?
yeah, Zingo.
Right.
So it's kind of Southern rock,
Mhm.
and so he's been watching what you and I have been doing,
Yeah.
and he sent stuff off, and now he's getting tons of airplay in Germany and France and Holland. He's going like, who would have thought?
I
Right?
know.
He says, I'm just following Brian and Joe's lead, right?
Oh, good,
Or is
good.
his lead, right? And I'm just going like, well, that's fine. We don't care. Right? You
Yeah.
know, the more the merrier.
Yeah, and you know, anybody local that wants to get out there, once again, Jen Oxbow from Virtue
Yeah,
Media,
yeah.
she's done miracles.
She's been
for
helping me a little bit
Yeah,
too, and
yeah.
she's great. She's right on the ball.
Yeah, and she built my website for me. She just does everything. She's great.
That's cool. That's cool. So, what else I was going to ask you? So yeah, okay, and we know how many countries you're at, and like that's. I'm really happy about that. No, that's good stuff. You know, and sometimes, like my take on that is like I used to say to Ray Folberg. I don't know if you remember Ray. I know we're dropping names. He's a friend of Tim Hersey's.
Yeah.
And Ray has a studio, and Ray, good friend of mine, and Ray said, he used to say to me, you're never going to get to some of these countries in your whole life. So that should make you millions of dollars. So
Yeah.
you might as well it's great that somebody knows you from somewhere else on the globe. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's great, and that your music is getting. So you're working on brand new material, and like we said, we talked about your songwriting, how you go about it. What's your plans coming up? We need to be signed to recording. Are you gonna actually get back out playing? I know we talked about that. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, you know
How
what?
do you feel about that?
I got definite feelings about that. I don't want to go stand in a bar and
No, I know.
and play all night while somebody's watching a hockey game. I don't want to do
I'm
that.
done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And plus, there's no money, and the money that is offered is an insult.
Yeah.
For somebody that's been playing like you and me and all our friends that are players around town have been playing for 50 years, and
Or
to
more.
go stand in a bar and play for $125,
Yeah.
I'm not in.
It's
That's-
not. It's just not worth it. Yeah.
No, so Jen's got me. She's trying to get me at all these summer festivals, you know, outdoor festivals.
Yeah. Where's more people?
Where there's just a bunch of music lovers that come to hear bands and see, and then I like to get up and show off in front of people and show what I can do, and just do those one-nighters and get some respect that way. But you know, no matter what, even though the music scene is just sort of taken a big
I
dive.
think the
The live music thing,
Yeah.
yes, it's taken quite a dive, which is really sad for all my buddies that are really just trying to scratch a living out of it like we used to. It just doesn't work anymore. But
No, I know. That's like I was
Anyway, yeah,
talking
so-
to a friend of ours. Well, he knows you. I know you know him. Maybe I've met a lot, but Elio Martelli, and Elio lives just up the street from
Mhm.
you. And you know, Elio just struggles, right? And
Yeah.
and yet he's a great musician. He's played with Doug and the Slugs.
right,
He's playing now with different people like you know, around town with Tommy Stewart and
Yeah.
the other guy from Trooper and the bass player. I'm trying to think of his name, Danny Underhill
Donnie.
and Donnie, and like they're just like nothing's changed, right? Like, and it's just like you can see that like day by day they just can't make ends meet anymore.
no,
right?
no,
And it's kind of sad. And I don't know if it. And I used to think it was just here in Vancouver, but
no, it's all over.
it's all over the place. It's like all around the globe.
Yeah,
When I talk to people over in Europe, actually when you and I were talking to Mark was at that Christmas party. Mark was saying to me, it's really sad. He was in Poland with his wife,
Mhm.
and there's festivals and stuff that are not even going on anymore. Like
No.
they've totally stopped, right?
yeah,
They're like the live thing's totally gone. He was in shock. He just went,
yeah.
what the hell's going on here, right? But things are changing. What can say? But
Yeah.
but you've got the other reach. We've got the internet and all that right now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, you know, I made in my lifetime, made a great living off playing live, and you know, that's over. I'm quite comfortable, but yeah, I think I can't not make music. So this is what I do:
Yeah,
write songs,
yeah.
make CDs, get them out there, sell them online, or you know, when we at the festivals we can sell them, and you know, if you want to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mostly,
of
I
course.
just want to get my music out there. Just
And you want to be in front of
because-
people and have a good time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to be out there, have some kind of legacy, you know, and yeah. So
Well-
that way, I'll just stay involved in music.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've done it your whole life. I mean, like,
Yeah.
why would you stop now? I wouldn't stop if I
No.
were you.
No.
I don't know how to stop, quite frankly.
Yeah.
We're gonna head out here in a minute, but I want to know. Ken told me to make sure I asked you because I know you talked to Ken. So we want to know which tune you want us to play off your Drive album that we'll end out on and close out. So you guys out there in virtual world get to hear some of Brian if you haven't heard Brian, and you should be listening to Brian because, like I said, I know Brian and I'm also a big fan too. I'm not just saying that. I'm just sitting here. I actually
You're just saying that. Come on.
no, I really enjoy.
No, you're just saying that.
No,
Let's have a look at
I
this
actually really love Brian. I like
I
listening
gotta-
to Brian's music.
I gotta try
I'm not
to-
just saying that. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing the interview.
Okay, I'm gonna pick a song off this latest CD here of mine, and what it is it's something I think is like a true R&B song. Like R&B nowadays is not like R&B
I
was
know.
when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's a totally different thing. But the R&B that I do is like mid '60s to mid '70s kind of R&B. Soul music. So something that I think represents that era and which is new, and I've done it and wrote, I'd say the song "Take My Love."
Okay.
It's got horn
That's a good-
section in
okay,
it.
Take My
It's
Love.
got a verse, chorus, bridge. Got it all. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I hear you. So you can also catch this podcast from here on in. It will be on buzzsprout.com. Get that out, buzzsprout.com. And The Art of Doing. And we're going to close off with Brian Holden, his last CD, Drive. Get it. Wake up if you haven't woken up. And we'll talk to you real soon. And Brian's got new material coming. So when he has it, we'll try to get him back on buzzsprout.com. Okay? Take care. Bye for now. Izzy, Dakota, Jones, Brian Holden.